Is it raining? I think we're good now. With that being said, hello everybody, welcome to Breakout Racing League BRL Tier 6. We are here tonight for the Hungarian Grand Prix here in Budapest, Hungary. I am here alongside my co-com, Tesla Claire.
Good evening, everyone. It's TES. I'm a bit TES. It annoys me when people call it says.
I'm gonna just say Leclerc.
Yeah, that's probably easier.
Sorry for the slightly delayed start. Just a little bit of tech issues, but we still have plenty of quali left to go. 11 minutes, and as you all can see from the minute I've been speaking, it is an intermediate qualifying. So, probably a little bit of a mixed up grid, but we'll see how much drivers decide to compromise their setups. I don't know what the conditions are like in the race. I want to assume dry, but that I don't know. Lewis Fan is currently set the fastest time of a 1:27.7, a little over 3/10 quicker than this guy Books, and I need to turn my audio down.
There's a purple sector 1 for Henchman 21, however he's invalidated at turn 4. Very easy to do, especially in these conditions.
Yes, and it looks like Books is not on a push lap right now. He's either going in the pits this lap, that's exactly what he's doing. Go to
big crash from Zigner on the exit of 4, straight into the wall.
Has he hit the inside curb?
Yeah, he hit the inside curb, and it just sent him into the inside wall. So, yeah, just out of sector 1.
Pretty sure that would have happened to him even if it were dry. That curb is so bad. Yeah, lost most of the left side of his wing. He'll have to pit to repair that. Then that means only one other driver on a lap at the moment is Henchman. Going through downhill left-hander, second gear he elects to use. Very slidey on that traction zone, flat out through there. Still loses the rear just a tiny bit. Fifth gear for that almost flat out left-hander in the dry. It's not, but it's close to. Going through very technical part of the track. This is where it gets the nickname Monaco without the barriers, because it is just a part of the track. No matter where you look, it is quite impossible to overtake no matter the conditions in these cars. And he's still on a lap going through. Oh, he's off track. Somehow didn't invalidate. But it's probably better that it didn't invalidate because he lost time anyway. But I've seen multiple corners where you lose time on this game and it will still invalidate. So
yeah, penultimate corner, pretty deep, and there's a bit in there, but opts to stay out.
Not many people have set lap times, and he's going to the line now.
Still P4.
Still P4. Looks, but not a lot of people have set lap times, as I've said. RJ's on outlap. Dom is going through the last couple corners now. Let me get this track map up. Going through the final corner, as well as his teammate, just one corner behind, about to start his lap. Dom goes P5, only about a tenth slower than P4. RJ just starts his lap. Wavy and Physicist are in the third sector, but Physicist has invalidated his lap, which means Wavy will have a chance to set and improve his lap time. Oh,
maybe not. Commentator's curse there.
He's still sliding.
Putting a show on for the fans here in Hungary.
Two McLarens are getting ready to start their laps, Avi and Mary Jane, respectively. Joseph looks like he's getting warmed up to set 1, 2. Physicist has started another lap. Bald guy's in the third sector. Doesn't look like he's on a lap. Looks like he's backed out of his lap. The Williams of Sprightly is getting out the way of the Renault of Penny. And then behind him, it's Hinchman going into the pits. I wanted to see Lewis if he was improving at all. Doesn't seem to be improving, but he's only slightly down on his time, and it looks like he's backed off after a mistake at the beginning of the third sector, probably. He might go for another lap, or he might box now. No, it does look like he's going to go for another lap, and with only 6 minutes left in quali, let's take you on board this lap of Lewis. Provisional pole right now. We'll see if he can do anything else to better that. Breaking down into turn 1, the rain has looked to slightly get heavier in the past few minutes, so it might be hard to improve, but he elects second gear, turn 1, slight lockup into turn 1, and very, very slight lockup into turn 2. That is a Mercedes parked on the exit at 2 there, and driver gets out the way at turn 3. Quite a big snap of oversteer there, actually, but lap looks pretty clean so far, and he's still pushing stay off of that curb at turn 4? No, that's turn 5, actually.
Yeah, the curb of
now
death
going
is
through
5.
Yeah, curb of death is 5. The fast left-hander is 4. Going through this middle sector, he's still pushing. Don't know how much he's up on his time. Very technical section. Oh, quite impossible
keep it on the
to
wall!
overtake.
Did he get damaged?
Doubt.
That's where Verstappen binned it, wasn't it?
Nah, it's the next corner. This one right here.
Yeah, not. It would have been interesting to see what sort of lap time Lewis would have done there. Very easy to lose it though.
What was he up on his lap?
I think
Books is 2/10 up on
he's missed
his.
the pit lane.
Well, Books was 2/10 up on his, and he lost 3/10 in that final sector.
Joseph's about half a second down on this lap. Be interesting to see if he goes again.
Ali is not deploying any energy right now. Mary Jane is 1.8 seconds up on her lap time, looking to launch herself into the top 10. No DRS, of course, as it is what conditions. Up to P9 goes Mary Jane. Bald Guy's about a half a second up on his time. To the line, derating just a little bit, but P3, oh man, that is so close between second, third, and fourth.
I was just on board with physicists there. Spun coming out of turn 3, and it looks like these conditions are getting slightly worse. So we could potentially have seen the best of the intermediate tyres.
Maybe, and it looks like if that is the case, Lewis has made the best of that. Started on pole last week, had immaculate pace in quali, and unfortunately, well, he had an incident early race, but he was still able to manage a podium out of that. Last week's race winner isn't even here, interestingly to point out. Aphid won last week's race in dominating fashion, and I'm just watching the offboard of Books right now, and he's just sliding it. Just like you said, the conditions look to be getting worse.
Yeah, it's the same with Wavy in the Red Bull down in P15 at the moment. With just 2 minutes to go left in qualifying. It's starting to turn into a bit of Tokyo drift here at the Hungary. On the broadcast camera it really doesn't look that heavy, but it's when you're on board, especially on the front wing camera, it looks like it's absolutely hammering it down.
The track just looks wet in general. It just looks a lot more wet than when we started at the beginning of the session.
It looks like a few drivers are struggling for traction, even in 4th gear in these conditions, which suggests to me that I think qualifying is just about done. Of course, we never know. The two Alpha Tauris are about to start a lap, with Dom the Noodle just behind Lewis Van.
Well, we'll watch both AlphaTauris here, and Books and Joseph both. We'll keep an eye on them. Books does not seem to be on the lap, in fact getting out of the way of a McLaren of Avi right there. We'll see what Lewis does first sector, if he's up or down. I'd most likely say he'll be down, but I will not know until he actually hits the split. No, he's up by 1/10.5, actually. Seems to be quite a good lap, and Books did improve his lap time. He went from a 28.0 to a 27.8. And Henchman also improves to up to P3 just then, but we'll keep an eye on Lewis now still. Going through this very technical middle sector, very, very high speed in the dry conditions, still high speed and wet. Keeps it valid there too. He's a half a second up. How about that? Purple sector too, if he can just keep it together. In this final sector, he might go a second quicker than the rest of the pack. I don't know what his teammates doing behind him, but Lewis looks to be
10th up.
10th up on his time, not the fastest time. Lewis, oh man, 26.9. How about that? Dom goes, wow, a second quicker than his teammate is Lewis Fan there. Henchman is on the lap.
I was just jumped on board with Penny there and somehow managed to keep it 1 out of the wall and 2 out of another car. That wouldn't have been handy. Henchman, yeah, both Mercedes picked. So, looking at them times, except for Lewis Fan once again, who has just absolutely demolished qualifying, it is relatively
even more
close.
than last week.
It really
Just
throws the
demolished
cat
it even more
amongst the
than last
pigeons
week.
in the room, doesn't it? This game.
And actually, the interesting thing is here, if you go on board with any car, it has stopped raining
Yeah.
just at the end of qualifying, and that track does look to be drying up quite quick. Which, if there was 5 minutes left to go in qualifying, anyone could be getting pole right now, but qualifying's over. And I think Lewis actually, I think it did start to rain harder, and then it started to get lighter again. And I think he got the perfect track conditions.
Both
And
AlphaTauri's,
popped
in
it up
fact.
that. Yes. As if Dom would have just went a few hundredths quicker, he would have gotten P3. And a tenth, he would have gotten P2.
Yeah, so obviously we have no idea what the weather's going to be like for the race. So,
Well, Lewis gets pole by over 8 tenths, and I'm not trying to be cringe here, but it was a very Lewis-style qualifying if we're talking about wet.
get in there, Lewis. Miracles do happen, mate. Fantastic drive, mate.
Lewis for tier 4. Well, he has to keep the same pace in the race, and you could say that for other drivers, such as tier 3. There's been some drivers that are absolutely rapid in quali and just cannot match it in the race. So we'll see first.
I can confirm that as well, guys. So it does look dry.
But here's the thing here. Since they qualified on inters, everyone's going to have the preferred strategy of medium hard now.
Speaking of which,
So,
I've done what you suggested on Friday night in Tier 3. I qualified 11th intentionally and started on the hards. So I got P3. So yeah, that worked out brilliantly. So thank you very much for that.
We'll see in tier 1. I qualified 11th, but started 12th. Why? Because I had the same qualifying time as 11th. So it's literally one position off where I wanted to be. I was like, okay, no. I actually did opposite to what I told you, and I started on mediums, but only for one reason. Knowing the pace of tier 1, I'm like, okay, I want to try to stick in DRS in this first stint, because that's going to help.
Yeah.
I go full brake pressure at turn 4 on the opening lap. It's dry. It's not wet. Full brake pressure, 100%. Actually lock up and hit someone. It became news to me that I had to brake at that corner.
Oh.
So, that was my race basically done at that point. Took hards from lap 1 to lap 33.
That's not bad.
Headed for softs. Headed for softs and fastest lap.
So,
Oh, Lewis is on softs. Interesting.
yeah,
That's interesting.
let's get the
now.
detail up. Dom the
Dom's
Noodle
on hards.
from 4th. Bold call from Dom there. I mean, it may work.
I'm not gonna lie. I think starting on softs is more of a bold move than starting on hards. But here's the thing with Lewis. If he can do it, I don't think he'll be almost a second quicker than the rest of the field now. I don't think that's going to happen. As stream, you can obviously see the starting tires. Mostly everyone's on mediums. If he can pull away, I think a 2-stop might be viable at this point. Might be, because it is pretty similar to the 1-stop. But the only reason that it's usually not viable is because of traffic.
Yeah.
So,
and they are brand new as well, so
that's another point. Usually when you're starting the race on softs from qualifying, it's almost going to be at 10% wear already from your quali lap and formation lap.
add the weaving into that as well, it could be even more. As we know. So, predicting pit stop strategy has just come up medium to hard lap 16 and 23, and the game reckons 2 stops for the soft runners. So it is worth mentioning Wavy and Valkyrie down there in 14th and 15th respectively on the softs as well. They're hoping to make up some positions off the start, for which I am going to focus on 10th downwards, as Penny has a spin. Sorry, go ahead.
I'm going to point out, Henchman also is on softs. I think we could very well see, if he gets a good enough start, picks up a slipstream, I think he'll get a better start than his teammate. He could be by and almost into the lead by turn 1. With that being said, about to get 5 red lights and get this race underway.
I don't have a good camera angle anywhere.
Yep, because they're not loaded up yet. Once all the cars load up, we'll get a good camera angle. There it goes. 5 red lights in front of the drivers. And it's lights out, and away we go. Lewis looks to get a good start. As I said, Hitchman gets a beautiful start. Already by Lewis, and he's not by his teammate yet, though. But it looks to be as it was last week, and Penny sends it in there very good indeed. It's a Mercedes 1-2 by turn 1, and Lewis down to P4 once again. Not a great start from the pole sitter 2 weeks in a row. He'll want to get by those medium runners. The 2 Mercedes look very feisty, though. Need to be careful, as we saw last week. They were 1-2, and then they were 1-2, but put a 1 in front. They were 1-2, but put a 1 in front of those numbers now. Oh, Lewis is all over the back of Joseph, locking up into that corner.
Yeah, crucially.
As I said, the mediums are a better race tire, but this is not what Lewis needed for his strategy. He needed to be leading into turn 1, not losing spots into turn 1.
So, hypothetical here, if you are the Mercedes guys, do you let Henchman through at this stage of the Grand Prix? He's on the quicker tyre, but as you say, the mediums are the much better race tyre. I feel like if Henchman gets close enough, that Books should let him go and maybe try and pull that gap out, as he has done.
That did kind of look orchestrated, I will not lie.
I heard the violins and everything.
Yeah, because I will say those softs in dirty air, which Lewis is in right now, they overheat so quickly. So the plan is now just to let Henchman stretch the lead out as much as possible from those medium runners, and oversteer out of turn 5 will not help whatsoever. But at this point in the race, for about the first 5 laps, the softs are quicker.
Yeah, but again, bringing traffic into that, they may be quicker, but Hungary, as you say, and as everyone knows, it's Monaco without the walls. It's a lot easier said than done to overtake around here.
There is a massive gap between Avi and Physicist. I have no idea why it's like that.
Valkyrie is up to 10th place, 118.7 from Henchman, and he's already got a 1.1, nearly a 1.2 gap to his teammate.
Dom the Noodle is under pressure from Quick Tongue. Quick Tongue making a look. No DRS yet, though, so going to be very hard to overtake Mary Jane Pitts in speeds as she does so.
Dom is placing that AlphaTauri well. This could help his teammate Lewis out a bit, and remember that Dom will be able to go a lot longer than everyone else ahead of him and behind him, in fact, all the way down to Starburst in P12. Speaking of which, very close to the back of RJ, round turn 4. It is annoying here, because as soon as you get into sector 2, you could be half a second quicker than the car ahead. but not overtake. As I say that,
Oh
Starburst,
man!
oh, has got it done. That was a brave move.
Okay.
You made
Very
my
brave
words there.
indeed, and I'm looking at Joseph and Books now. Joseph tried to make a look around the outside, and Lewis is looking to capitalize on this battle, but just nothing can be done at the moment.
Nothing as of yet.
As I said at the start, Henchman got a beautiful start, and it did look like he was about to take the lead into turn 1. It's just
Now look at that
his
gap.
teammate actually.
Yeah.
His teammate actually got a really good start for medium tires, and he was able to pass Lewis. Actually, I'm surprised how bad of a start Lewis got. Joseph is just all over the back of Books.
Joseph
Runs
was
off track a little bit.
rally driving there. Lock up from Lewis from behind. This is everyone within about 2 seconds, the top 4. And I'd love to know what Lewis's tyres are saying now. Bono, and softs will start to hit the cliff. Lap 5 of 35 of this Hungarian Grand Prix. Here comes Joseph.
Oh, they are so close to touching, and Joseph makes a move. Now can Lewis follow up with that? No, he can't.
I know
The thing that helped Joseph make that move is that Books was not in the DRS of Henchman, so that allowed Joseph to gain an advantage over him on the main straight.
the Books kicking up some dirt into 5, and Lewis very close to that death curb, as we like to call it. And Lewis now all over the back of Books in sector 2. Books, did he get a bit? Start into turn 1, because Lewis all over the back of that Mercedes gearbox now. That sounds odd, Mercedes gearbox car, but as I said last week, we move. So Joseph has managed to bring that gap down to 0.8 of a second.
Books is going to have this time that he didn't have last time. He will have the 8 of DRS to his disposal, so Lewis won't get as much of an advantage.
Something interesting to point out, that the top 4, as Quick Tongue gets passed on, but then goes really one there side by side. Still side by
Dom's
side.
lagging just. Quick Tongue has got by Dom, and now I don't think you can make a move for unless you're already ahead. And Lewis has dropped off the back of Books after putting him. See, that's the thing with the softs. He was so close to him last lap, and now his tires are just screaming for help. Overheating, they basically become chewing gum at this point if you get too close, and as you see, he's still falling off. I mean, he's still within a half. Get me wrong, but it's not as close as he was last lap.
No, the dirty air is really not going to help his tyres, and like he got a slow exit out of the penultimate corner. One thing I noticed at Grande, and one thing I'm noticing now, that this track uses a hell of a lot of energy. You don't realise how much it's so hard to
Because the thing is, in the middle sector, it's like we said, it's impossible to overtake basically, except unless you're it's impossible to. You are braking, but not as much as it feels like when you're driving in this middle sector. Like you're braking for this chicane, and that's the heaviest braking point in this middle sector.
Yeah. more of a comfort of the track, isn't it? Books is using all the track, shifts into 5th for 3-second time penalty for the 2 leaders. It'll be interesting to see when Henchman and Lewis do come in, because them softs are probably screaming now. And as we say that, is that Penny in the pits? It is. They're only on lap 7. You'd expect Joseph really hasn't got the energy. Are we going to see a Daniel Ricciardo from downtown? No, we're not. It's as we were from the previous lap. A good win to turn 2, but once again, you need your energy if you want to make a move there. This is very close. This is between the top 4.
I think Henchman being out in front on softs is definitely helping the factor. I think it's helping Lewis as well, because he's on softs as well. Softs just a little bit longer now.
Maybe lap 10.
Keep up with these medium runners. Maybe stretch, but as long as Henchman's in front and holding these guys up, I don't see a problem with it.
We have a slow Red Bull as well, approaching the end of the lap. 3 corners to go. This might help Henchman. Oh, he's not going to get the DRS. As Henchman boxes anyway.
He's not, and Lewis also dives into the pits.
Be careful not to
and now it is left for Books and Joseph to duel it out. Joseph does have DRS to defend. Books decides to stick behind for right now, and we'll have to watch that battle when these two decide to pit. Still 8 laps. I saw someone pit on lap 5 in tier 1 because the tires were just overheating, and they weren't, and he wasn't even in dirty air. So to take those tires even 8 laps out their second stint chances.
So Lewis isn't going to be happy with that stop. He's now fighting with physicist. This has allowed Henchman to... Speaking of which, Henchman's on the mediums. That's a 2-stop. That's a 2-stop confirmed, surely. For the
and Lewis is still going to try the 1-stop, which I'm surprised that he's decided this. He probably thought he could pull away a bit more in the first stint, but it's overall compromised him now. About 7 seconds is...
Sorry about that, bold guys. Just don't know if that was a bit of connection or he did actually slam into the back of Quick Tongue there. But he has lost a bit of time because of it. He will have the DRS. He got very close to the rear diffuser. Car.
Soft hard compared to medium hard. It's
Sorry
about
to cut
7 seconds. Oh, they're still side by side.
Sorry to cut you off there, FinFan, but I just jumped on board as that happened.
Oh, Joseph, and he's lost about a half. There, he went on the grass of turn 4. Neither of these guys have bad. And I'm sure Henchman and Lewis are absolutely in their hands right now seeing this battle. Lewis still, he doesn't have a penalty. So it could definitely help. While the likes of Joseph and Henchman do have a penalty.
Yeah, but I think
and Henchman is pulling away at the softer compound. And he's got one more pit stop, so...
Yeah, so if I was Lewis, I wouldn't really be worried as of yet.
Well, you'd still love to see these two keep fighting it out. Joseph still all over the back of Books as Books got it done the lap before.
Henchman
fastest lap of the race.
I have a message from Science from Tier 5. Could you put the fitted tyres on, please? I don't know why he's messaged me that, but hey ho. Yeah. There you go, Science. Brooks and Joseph still battling it out. Up ahead, Bald Guy about 7 to 8 tenths behind Quicktail. This is bringing Dom the Noodle in hard tyres.
Dom is going to be on mediums the second stint, so he will be quicker. I'm out for a podium entirely here.
I think another thing, as I say that, people pick up them. You have to keep penalties to a minimum. It is really easy to get. It's really easy to get them down here. White lines.
Ooh, VSC Gaudy Penny is in.
This will help G. Does anyone pit?
If I were on mediums now.
As Physicist yeets into the pit lane. So he's heard your call. Drive through for Wavy.
And Wavy's got to drive through.
That's not the optimal strategy, buddy, unfortunately. As Bullseye now picks up a 3-second penalty. So Dom has actually gained time under that VSC, so he's played that absolutely brilliantly. 1.7 behind Bald Guy, and you'd think between now and say about lap 15, lap 16, the medium runners will come in to put the hard tyres on, which would promote Dom into P1, obviously still with one pit stop to make, but then when he does these soft
Well, Joseph was coming at Book's lap. He's coming at him this lap down the inside at turn 1. Of oversteer and ruins his chance of overtaking that lap, but if you're Lewis, you want these guys to battling it out right now.
The incredible respect for both drivers being able to fight back at a very difficult track to overtake on, as Joseph had a little managed to keep it on the black stuff, so didn't affect him too much.
You should love it when the closest battle on the track has been the battle for the lead the whole race.
It's not the closest battle. Look at Physicist and Valkyrie.
Well,
as Valkyrie's about to go for a move into one.
Valkyrie's going for the overtake, that's why. Let me rephrase that. The closest consistent battle on track.
There we go. Yeah, that's more like it. We move. Oh, Joseph in. Book stays out. Trying the undercut here on the Mercedes driver.
Well, and we'll see where he comes out in comparison to Lewis. I'm going to look at Lewis right now. He's had clean air to work with for quite a few laps now. No one behind him to put him under pressure. No one ahead of him to catch dirty air from.
Henchman goes through. Will Lewis get him? This is going to be tight.
On board. I think they're going to be side by side into turn 1. They are. Lewis is going round the outside right now. This is for the net lead position, and Lewis has got it done.
Incredible.
Now, where does Books come out when he makes his pit stop?
There's an 8-second gap at the moment.
You have to remember, Lewis also lost time on his pit stop.
Yeah, this is true. Now, Lewis and Joseph, this is going to help Henchman out massively, because Lewis and Joseph won't go easy on each other. The two alpha cars. Two different spellings, of course. These guys are going to battle it out, which is going to allow Henchman to increase the gap a bit more.
Book stays out.
This is very interesting from the other Mercedes driver. There's a lapped Williams of, I believe, rightly, but it is. But it's a fairly big gap, 7.18 with the top two, and Bald Guy racing just behind in that nice Scarlet Red
Joseph
Ferrari.
got overtaken last lap, and that was kind of on the limit there. Joseph still goes down the inside. They're still side by side here.
Brooks has a 3-second time penalty.
Oh, Lewis goes a bit deep. How did they not touch there?
They did.
They did?
There's a little wheel bang. Left side decided to fall. Oh my god, someone please back out.
Oh no. They don't back out. They both kept it in there. And they're still side by side. Oh, Books is loving this now.
Oh, what fantastic racing. That needs to go into overtake of the week. Not just for overtake of the week, but just for the racing. Oh, my word, what an incredible first sector from Lewis.
He's out. Would have pitted right then. I mean, obviously you don't know they're battling unless you haven't used so, but
Quick tongue into the pit lane. Hard tyres. Lap 16. There is the one-stop strategy. Open now. Pit window. So that gap between Brooks and Bald Guy is 9 seconds. Dom the Noodle gains a podium. I'm sure he's screaming red flag to the FIA.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we have not hit 50% this race yet, so...
No, and unfortunately, this is an F1 2013, so we can't have any red flags.
That too.
Lewis and Joseph are still battling this out, and Lewis is in a fantastic position here because he hasn't got a penalty, and nor does Dom the Noodle. So the two AlphaTauris, I hate to say it, and I don't want to curse them, are in a very good position here.
Definitely.
Brooks has stayed out again. Is he trying the medium soft?
There ain't no way. There's no way.
I mean, I will. If he does this and he manages to win the race, I will stand up and applaud him. Just to put it off. 6 as Bald Guy is now in the pits and Henchman back into the podium positions. It's the hard.
I mean, mediums. Joseph's going for the move. No, he's not. As I was, or is he here? Actually, he's down two. He might be able to. On the inside, they both get ample space, and they're still side by side.
Oh my god.
They're still going side by side to turn 4.
Oh, that's fantastic. That was...
Oh, Lewis, what? Oh, Lewis, what? The thing is, Joseph was actually ahead going into the corner, and Lewis kept it on track.
He was, but crucially, as I mentioned earlier, these two are going to battle like crazy, and now look at the gap to Henchman. If they keep this up, that gap's just going to get bigger and bigger.
Ooh, is Books in? Is Books in? Yes, he is. He's finally in.
Surely hard tyres.
He's completely ignored your medium soft suggestion.
It is the hard tyres.
I think
he'll come out third. He might come out. Ooh. Okay.
I think he might come out first from all this battling. He will come out first.
Incredible stint.
With a penalty to keep in mind.
So this battle is going to be Lewis using a lot of curb on the right hand side. Look how close Lewis and Joseph are. One of them hasn't washed out into dirty air. It's incredible.
Lewis can get in the DRS of Books. I think he'll be pretty set on defending Joseph. Help him in.
It will do. Speaking of DRS, Henchman on the back of Dom the Noodle. He's had a quiet race, but he's doing what he has to on the Noodle. Aphid picks
if
up.
I were Dom, I'd get in the pits ASAP because mediums can easily go to the end from here. They can do half the race, and as I was saying, Henchman should be a pretty straightforward move here.
Yeah, Dom knew that's not a battle he wants to fight.
As I was saying, it wasn't in BRL, it was another league, but I pitted on lap 13 for mediums, and they made it to the end. I pitted under safety car. I wouldn't have pitted that early if it wasn't, but I pitted under safety car lap 13, and they did make it to the end. So, oh man, Lewis and Joseph still.
I'm just gonna invite QuickTime back to the game. She's unfortunately disconnected. There we go. It'll be interesting.
Well, I will say, I would say this to both the drivers right now. If they keep fighting, then neither of them are going to catch up to Books, and Books is going to pull that 3 seconds, and
Dom stays out. He's going one more lap.
Needs to pit.
He needs to pit as soon as he can.
Just losing too much time to the fresh hards of Books. And man, this is the thing here. Books' tires are some 9 laps younger than Lewis's.
Yeah, that
is a long, long time.
That's a big advantage. And Joseph's hard tires are 5 laps younger than Lewis's. So this is a very interesting battle. And remember, Books has a 3-second penalty, as that could be a safety car.
It's a VSC.
I just saw a full course yellow then, it didn't give me a VSC in the top left, so nice one, Codemasters.
This may play beautifully into Henchman and Dom's hands if it stays out long enough.
Where is that Red Bull? I
the
don't know.
Second sector. It was in the second sector. If this stays out any longer, oh, bald guy.
Oh! Henchman's off!
Henchman's off, and he comes back on, straight into Dom.
Dom's in. Dom is in.
Dom's in.
I'm surprised none of them got a 5-second penalty there, because that was under VSC.
Actually, it just went green.
Okay, so this will be the medium tyres for Dom. He's going to come out 6th?
Did he have to replace his wing? Or
no, he didn't.
No,
Come out 6th. QuickTime's just behind. Okay, come out 7th. But on the better tyre. It's a good stint from Dom the Welshman. And he does have DRS from Henchman, so I'm going to get the gap to the leader up, and Dom the Noodle is
I don't know how the heck Lewis
seconds.
is. I don't know how the heck Lewis is holding off Joseph right now. How close he's been.
Nor do I. And yeah, looking at the gap, 20.4 seconds between P1 and P7.
Well, Henchman still has to pit.
He does. Do you reckon he'll
take 3
eat them
seconds
tyres?
off? Take 4 seconds off of that.
So about 16 seconds. He'll come out P7.
And no penalty, and no penalty, and no penalty.
And that, yeah. Do you reckon he's going... Oh, another penalty for Henchman. That's 6 seconds now. That's not what he wanted. But as
and if there's a late race safety car, it's going to be detrimental.
Yeah, absolutely. And as we say so many times over the past 8 years, it's a Mercedes 1-2. It's going much better than Silverstone last week. Valkyrie picks up a 3-second penalty as well. Quick time and Dom the Noodle battling it, and the grip difference was insane on the exit of turn 1 there. P6 for the AlphaTauri driver. And
Next
that's
up
going
is
to be...
bald guy.
Yeah, but he's
who's
AI.
Unfortunately disconnected.
Yeah, so that gap will come
You
down.
invited him, right?
I did. Yeah, I'm sure I did.
Alright.
Checking another invite. Menu, invite to game. There we go. That's a big gap to Joseph and Lewis. It's still blowing my mind how these two are only half a second apart. They've been battling since, I want to say, like lap 7, maybe 8. It's been an incredible fight between these two. Barely any energy for Joseph, but it looks like he's going to make a move into 1. No, he's not. Interesting.
Lewis is actually doing just enough at this point in the race, if you can tell. He's actually been saving energy on that main straight.
Yeah, we might have to hit him up to ask him how. It's interesting to see the two drivers.
Joseph is running lower downforce, but he just loses a little bit in this middle sector. In last sector, and he's just not close enough.
Oh, that's not going to help him. Trying to use all the track he could there. It's interesting to see, just riding on board with Joseph, the two drivers differing lines. And he's lost a lot of time to Lewis ahead. Unfortunately, we have no interval. So...
yeah, I can't see it either.
Henchman is still going. 14 lap. Oh.
I think he's going for softs.
Yeah, he must be.
I know those. I know those mediums can go like 22 laps, and that's when they're like at their breaking point. So I'm assuming he's gonna go for softs last stint.
Bullguy is back in, chasing down Quick Tongue. And I was going to say, I felt bad for Aphid, but he now does have a battle on his hands with Zigstar behind, and Zigstar's got an amazing exit out the final corner, but he's got no energy
Brand new mediums.
No energy whatsoever. And can't get past that papaya McLaren.
The thing is, Book's got another 3-second penalty, but Lewis just doesn't have the pace as Book's right now. It's about 2-3 slower a lap, and it's just been growing that gap to P2 at the moment.
Henchman is still going. Do you reckon 26, 27 he'll come in for the softs?
Yeah, probably. If I were him, I'd do lap 26.
Joseph and Lewis round God knows what into turn 1.
I mean, they've been doing this ever since Lewis joined the league in Austria, and it was a fight for Lewis's first podium, and he lost out to the championship leader Joseph. And I'll tell you what, in terms of a championship fight, the pack has closed up to Joseph a lot these past rounds. I know he's been pushing him around there. You cannot stick your nose at turn 4. You will get turned in on, and it will not end well for you.
No, definitely not. And as the driver behind, it would be your fault because the car ahead is taking. Yeah, the car ahead's taking the racing line. So
yeah, as I was saying, the chasing pack, Joseph absolutely dominated the first third of this season. I think he has 5 or 6 race wins. something like that number. And the chasing pack is closed up quite a lot. And then this man in Austria, and it seems like it's a battle between every week at this point now. Austria, Lewis had a 3-second penalty and lost out by just a few tenths to Joseph for the final podium position. Last week in Britain, it seemed like they were fighting back through the pack together the entire race. Lewis actually ended up with the podium that time, Joseph P4. And now here they are again. Joseph does have a penalty, but he's all over Lewis's gearbox again.
He's literally pushing
like
him.
I said, like I said, his nose at turn 4 at all, and Lewis knows that, and he's using it to his advantage. But as I said, lower lap to books behind his teammate now, and this is when I'd say Henchman needs to go in and just get out the way of his teammate. Bye right there.
That is a very Valtteri Bottas move.
Ouch.
I'm sorry, Henchman. But
Ouch.
It was. You need to pit, bro. You need to pit.
Ooh.
But he doesn't. So Dom the Noodle is really closing in on Joseph and Lewis. We've got
Not as
8
much
laps
as I
left.
thought, to be honest.
8-9 laps left.
The thing is, Joseph keeps close. Oh, he's going for it! This time he is! Down the inside, turn 1.
He's got good exit, but so much more energy in that Alpha Tauri. I still can't believe when you told me last week Lewis is on a pad.
Oh, Joseph has got it done here. Oh, back out of it, Lewis. Back out, back out. Thank you.
I just have to hold my breath when I see these two go into turn 4. This is absolutely incredible. And do you think Lewis's tyres are really starting to hamper him a little bit?
It might be.
Another penalty for Books.
Let's put Joseph into P1 now, hasn't it? Net P1.
Net P1,
Yes.
but yeah, if Lewis can
Well,
stay with him.
Lewis is still in P1 because he doesn't have a penalty. So.
Yeah.
Well, then again, it's all on if Henchman decides. Oh, here, there we
it's
go.
gonna be soft
Said it
tyres
at
now.
the perfect time.
Yeah. Oh. Much better race for the second Mercedes car this week. Soft tyres onto that silver/black arrow.
And I feel like this might be a close battle between him and the other AlphaTauri of Dom to the end, but
Someone's gonna get him.
and bald guy.
Yeah, so P7
So
as
he's gonna
I
have some work to do.
called
He's gonna
it.
have the superior grip there. Ooh, yellow flag. Oh, I thought it was Books for a second.
Look how much energy Henchman's got. He's got a full bar. He's done incredibly well to save his energy then. Obviously you gain quite a lot back under the pit stop, so I'd still say he had like about half his energy when he boxed then. Lewis ran still 8 tenths behind Joseph, and currently he is P3, but not P1.
Well, it's really, really close to not being P1. Well, it was, I should say. Ever since Books now has 9 seconds. It was 6 seconds, which would have been closer as 5.8. Right on the knife's edge there. But I think it seemed like it for a few laps. It did seem like Joseph was the quicker car. He just didn't have the energy to overtake. And I think it's showing now. But as long as Lewis sticks in this DRS, it might go well for him. And if a safety car comes out, it's
gonna
probably
shake
going to
the
be an
field up.
AlphaTauri one too.
Yeah, it's going to shake the field up massively, isn't it? If a safety car comes out, as Mary Jane's McLaren has decided after retiring to carry on
If the safety
driving.
car comes out now, and I'm the top 3. Like, right now, I'm probably pitting for softs.
Lewis is so much quicker through sector 2.
I think he's just got more downforce, and now he's getting the DRS on the main straight, and it's helping him keep up with Joseph. He picked up his first podium last week. Is he going to get his first win this week?
It's a very high possibility. Is he close enough?
Well, he's got 6 laps to do it.
It's going to be a mega move if he tries it. Oh, he's got!
Oh!
Double
that
lookup.
was not on. That was not on. Not on there.
I'm going to stop it as
There goes
expected.
Henchman.
Yeah.
Overtaking Quick Tongue as well. Just so much grip. Goes a bit deep though. But yeah, too much grip.
Yeah. About
And
a second and a half
it's gonna be quite
faster, aren't they?
close, so.
And it's brand new to the tyres.
Advice to Lewis right now is just chill. Like right now, I'm chilling behind Joseph as long as he's keeping up with books.
Yeah, as you say, right now, I'm going to quote Ferrari here, stay
And
focused.
he needs to push in this final sector. Stay within that DRS, or it might be game over.
Possibly, but crucially.
Oh,
it's right up the
he's
cusp.
outside of it. Now he's back in it. Now he's outside. He's not going to get it.
He
this
hasn't got
lap.
it. If he used what little energy he's got, try and close back up. This is going to be an interesting last 5 laps. Henchman with another fastest lap.
He's going to be on the back of
As
Dom
Valkyrie
very
leads.
soon. Yeah, Henchman's going to be on the back of Dom very, very soon. But he's only got little time to do it.
And crucially, Henchman has, I believe,
Ooh,
6
Joseph
seconds of
went
penalties.
a little wide at that corner. No, 9 seconds. Oh, Henchman. No, my bad. Books has 9 seconds. Henchman. Yeah, he has 6 seconds. Wait, Books only what? I thought Books had 9 seconds.
Brooks only got 6. There's a yellow flag, it's a Haas. And that's RJ.
Then he's still net P1.
I mean, just.
True, just by only about a second to Lewis, but crucially Lewis is back within DRS. I thought Books had 9 seconds. Well, that just throws everything on its head, doesn't it?
It does, it really does. About 3 seconds between Henchman and Dom the Noodle, but I wouldn't be too worried if I was Dom, because obviously 6 seconds of penalties with 4 laps to go. Can Henchman manage to pull a 6-second gap? It's going to be a big ask.
I mean, if I were Lewis and Dom right now, I'd just be praying for a safety car this lap. But it doesn't look like it's going to happen.
No, it doesn't. Yeah, I definitely have to agree with you there.
How close is Books to getting another pin, if any?
Let's have a look, shall we?
Nope, he's not got another warning since.
I definitely have to agree with you. What you said a couple of laps ago, I definitely feel that Lewis is running a lot more downforce. Just
Players are just a lot older as well, so. Oh, he doesn't have DRS. How?
Lewis does.
Great game, great game, great game. No, he didn't have it open there.
He did for me.
Well, great game.
I'm looking back on his car and it
He
definitely
still
has
doesn't
one
have it
open.
open there. He didn't have it open on the second DRS zone either, so great game.
One of the commentators has DRS open, one of them don't. Great game, Cody's. Great game. Bring on July.
We move.
We move. We do move. As the intervals have gone up in the air again.
Nowhere to be seen.
So this is very good for AlphaTauri, this current position.
Well,
another penalty, henchman. That's 9 now, right? Yeah. 9
yes.
seconds for henchman.
I think he's now be close to losing his position with Bald Guy. I'd like to know the intervals, but nah, we don't need them. We don't need them. We don't need them.
Apparently not. Because the commentary is really easy without them. It's 6.2 seconds, the gap from Books to Joseph. This is extremely tight with 2 laps to go. And Books has a lot fresher tyres than the cars behind him.
Henchman's caught the back of Dom. Obviously Dom will stay ahead no matter what at this point, but bragging rights, who finished that on track? Always a thing.
It is, but then there's also a counter argument for that bragging rights. Who got the least penalties? It's a lose-lose really, isn't it, this game? Yellow flag, sector 2, that's Williams getting out of the way. So Books is coming up to the penultimate corner now. It's 6.2 at this stage. 1 more racing lap. Now whatever is left.
Needs to hold on.
Lewis has really dropped off here. I think his tyres have had enough, unfortunately. 1.2.
Henchman's got by Dom.
I don't think Dom would be too disheartened by that. It's still going to be a P4 finish. Unless, by a miracle, Henchman has got, I don't know, an F18 Super Hornet engine in the back of that Mercedes. 7.4 seconds, the gap between Joseph.
Even if Books were to get another penalty here, it'd still be awfully close.
It will be.
There's a McLaren off at that corner of Avi, who's in the points and out of the points now.
That's unfortunate for Avi. 7.5 seconds. Lewis has really closed back up to Joseph. And I'm going to stop talking and hand over to you for the final 2 corners.
Well, I think it's quite impossible to get a penalty at these last 2 corners. So, with that being said, Books rounds the final corner and will win the Hungarian Grand Prix. Joseph will come home P3, actually. Oh, man, that was close. Lewis will come home P2. Joseph P3, Henchman coming to finish on track P4, but Dom the Noodle will come home P4 after penalties. Henchman will come home P5. A good weekend for both Mercedes and AlphaTauri alike. A little underwhelming weekend for Alfa Romeo, the constructors leaders. Still picks up a podium. Bald Guy came in P6, Quick Tongue P7. Ziggs rounding the final corner will come home in P8. Physicist all the way down. Man, this field is spread out. Avi in P10 scores points a lap down. That just shows how much the top guys were absolutely on it today. Physicist comes home in the final points paying position, P9. And
It's not the final points paying position.
Well,
we're not on the lead lap, yes. But yeah, I got what you meant, but other people
will say the entire season, throughout the course of the race, was probably the best battle for the lead that we've had. Putting in terms of penalties as well. Having penalty situation the entire race and us putting that into factor. Yeah. I'd like to also point out Austria P4 for Lewis, Britain P3 for Lewis, Hungary P2 for Lewis. So that must mean that in Belgium, he picks up his first win, right?
I mean, that's how it went for me last season in BRL. I started off with a P5, a P3 in my next, a P5 at Singapore, a P3 at Russia, a P2 wherever we were next, and then at Kota, I think I won. So it must be that way. The newspaper headlines are already written for next week. And if Belgium is half of what this battle was and this race was, then bring it on is all I say.
Hinchman also picks up the fastest lap point for Mercedes and himself this race. There's Joseph. I don't think Lewis has a mic. So I'll let you start off with P3.
Yep, no worries.
And after that, I'll go to P1.
Just make sure to have your audio ticked, guys. So we will start with Joseph, and I don't really know where to start with you, buddy, because my God, what a battle we're having with Lewis for the majority of that race. Just talk us through your feelings right now.
I don't know. It's just I guess you call a friendly competitive battle there for 90% of the race. Ever since Lewis has been joined, I don't know how many weeks back, it's just been me, him, literally just battling on and on and on. And I'm not gonna say consistently, but a few other people into the mix you see today. The two, Mercedes had a really good strategy today. AlphaTauri had a really good strategy today. They got some good points. But yeah, ever since Lewis has joined, I don't know what race that was. It's just been honestly just us two. Honestly, at the top, I don't know what to say. It's a fun competition against two competitors in the league race. So that's all I gotta say. Really fun. Really enjoyed it.
Yeah, that's what we love to see, and Hungary is notorious for being extremely difficult to overtake, so being able to run that closely to each other, lap after lap after lap, is just incredible. So, a fantastic race from you. How are your feelings for Belgium next Monday evening?
Personally, I'm not really a fan, so I'll make sure I get a little more runs in for my overall. Just getting used to the track. Oh, just on this F1 game, not F1 games in general. Like, I've not really been that good at Spa, so I'll make sure I get a little bit more practice and going into next Monday's race, and hopefully we can come into there and just continue showing our top pace there.
Yes, great talent shown today, and I wish you all the best, as well as Lewis, in Spa, Belgium, next Monday evening. I'll hand over to Vinfan for our race winner.
Well, I actually have one interesting question for Joseph before I move on to books, and it's going to be a difficult question, I already know. Now, everyone in Tier 6 knows the first third of the season you dominated, taking many poles and many race wins. Now, obviously, that's enjoyable, but you've still been competitive at the top of the field, but with the chasing pack closing in, has it been more enjoyable fighting cars week in and week out these past few weeks compared to taking just dominating race wins?
Yeah, for sure. You wouldn't just want to be dominating, just solo car based, solo duo car. Me and both guys at the beginning of the season were top 2 cars by a huge margin to the rest of the field. And I really do enjoy more competition, more people joining in, and actually being on par pace with the top guys. It's really enjoyable to race and be competitive with other drivers on here.
Yeah, I will say, you mentioned it earlier, Lewis joined, and I see you guys fighting for a position every week now, so hopefully that continues at Spa. Now, on to our race winner. Was in doubt for a little while when he had penalties, but he had the pace to pull out the gap, and he got the gap to what he needed. And he had 6 seconds, and it looked like Lewis was going to win at one point. Then it looked like Joseph might win because he got past Lewis, and he was still within that 3 seconds. But you still pulled it out, and, well, I will say, Joseph and Lewis going at it all race helped a little, but you obviously had the pace over them and the optimal strategy, as you had 5-lap fresher tires compared to Joseph and 10-lap fresher tires compared to Lewis. So just talk us through your race. And I know that first stint was just a mega battle between you, your teammate Joseph, and Lewis. It was just you all 4 right there. So just talk us through your race.
Utmost praise to Henchman, man. Big day for Mercedes today. I think probably the best put together race for us all season. And we've kind of been I feel like we've been underperforming a bit as a team. So hopefully it's just a sign of things to come from Mercedes. But yeah, most of the race today, me and Henchman weren't on comms like we usually are. But really shout out to him, smart enough to pick the opposite strategy. I let him go at the beginning to let him pull away. And then me and Joseph kind of battle while I let Henchman kind of get a gap so he can have his optimal strat, because I knew the medium tire was probably the best. And Joseph got past me, but Henchman was able to hold up the pack for a good 2 laps, and he really didn't have to. So he kind of sacrificed a bit of his race for me. And then once he pitted, it was really just me and Joseph battling there. And I got past Joseph, and he chose to pit a bit early, and I'm pretty sure once he came out, he got stuck in some traffic. I went the extra 2 laps, and when I came out of my pit stop, I was kind of clear in front of him, and I saw him and Lewis were back there. So at that point, it was just make the gap. 6 seconds, the penalty sucks. So I was doing pretty good there for a while with no penalties. But yeah, now that I hear that they were fighting, it was probably again a bit of luck, a bit of good driving. But yeah, clean last stint to just make the gap and finish the race clean.
Yeah, that traffic was the other podium sitter of Lewis. These two, Joseph pitted to try to get the undercut, but the thing is, Lewis actually got the undercut on Joseph, and he came out ahead. They were actually side by side into turn 1, and then they just battled it out for the rest of the race. And yeah, you took advantage of it. You got the gap. I mean, they were only a second behind, or Lewis was only a second behind coming out the pit stops, and he was about 8 seconds behind at the end of the race. So you obviously had the pace to win today, and I'd say a very deserved victory. I mean, that race, in terms of who we thought was going to win or who was going to win, it was not very clear until probably those final 5 laps, where you finally had got the gap and continued to pull it. At one point, it could have been Henchman. Then obviously Lewis, he didn't have penalties. Then Joseph's always a contender for the race win week in, weekend out. And then Dom, even at one point on the alternate strategy, seemed like he might be able to close up. But you had the proper strategy today. No traffic much to deal with at all. And then you had the pace, so congrats on your win, and congrats to you on yet another podium. Joseph and Lewis does not have a mic, so congrats to him on his P2. Obviously, by the direction he's going, he's definitely going to win Belgium next week, and you two didn't hear, but I said Lewis finished Austria P4, Britain P3, and today P2. So he has to win next week, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure you two all have something to say about that. So, yeah, another great race in Tier 6. And with that being said, we'll see you all next week, same time for the Belgian Grand Prix at Spa. Until then, goodbye.